Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Amazing Race Rewind podcast, the podcast where we rewind back in time to watch the earliest seasons of The Amazing Race for the first time. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Jill.
And we are here back again for the first time since Season 3, Episode 5, with a wonderful guest. Please welcome on Rebecca to the podcast. Rebecca, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm so pleased to be here. Honored, honestly. I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to talk some Amazing Race.
Yes, great. Okay, so the first question we like to ask all of our guests is, what is your history, familiarity, origin with The Amazing Race? Huge lifetime fan of the show, know every single thing, or do you know nothing about the show? What's up?
Okay, on that scale, I'd say probably a 3. Like, I have some history with The Amazing Race Canada, but not much.
But you know the format. You know kind of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I was watching the episode, it was like, yeah, okay, I remember, like, what a detour is. I remember what a fast forward is. It was like a refresher, which is nice.
Okay. Any impressions immediately, like, right off the bat of the teams, kind of in the first couple of minutes? You're jumping into the season quite late, so I'd say it's nice because you don't have that many teams to get to know and memorize, but on the other hand, you also get a really good impression of each team. What did you think?
True, yeah. So I do feel like we were hopping into, like, a very tense moment. It's, of course, like, at the end of the season, so I was flabbergasted a little. I really liked the teams a lot. Well, no, I didn't actually. Sorry. I can't believe I just said that. I'm a little overwhelmed. This is my first time being a guest on a podcast. No, I actually didn't like any of the teams at all. I completely lied. So I didn't like, there was like the clown team. I thought that they were like the best of the bunch, but again, not great. They were kind of,
They're
kind
corny.
of annoyed me a little. Yeah, they were very corny, just kind of like, And then, there's, Riken and Chip. I didn't mind them, but I really didn't appreciate some comments that were made, and I feel like we're going to get into that later. And then I really hated, I can't remember their name. Kelly and John, yeah.
Join the train.
Yeah, no, I didn't like them at all. Yeah, the last team, the one that came in first, I think it's pretty safe to say that they were kind of boring. I don't even remember their names, so.
David and Jeff. I think I was going to make a point about this last episode, but they're definitely, out of all the seasons we've watched so far, the only team who's made it the furthest and yet still doesn't have a personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nothing. They're pointless. So I think overall this episode was it had like a lot of offensive comments or dated comments that were like very 2003 and have been left in 2003, which is not a great place to come in to watch one episode. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. But overall, I didn't think it was a pretty well-designed leg.
There were good tasks. Yeah, it wasn't the worst episode to come in and watch task-wise. That's for sure.
No, that's true.
And you also got a good amount of the travel drama.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was good because there was like the travel drama, which is like very old Amazing Race because you don't get that anymore. And then the tasks did feel a little bit more modern.
Yes.
This episode.
I do agree with that. I think that, yeah, the travel drama definitely got me. That was probably the most, that was the part of the episode I was most invested in.
Okay.
And entertained by, I'd say. And then, yeah, the tasks, they were nice to, like, follow. And I thought that they were, again, like, well-designed, like you guys were saying.
Perfect. Okay, any other comments before we get into the episode itself?
Wait. We do this with guests as well, where we like to ask, first off, would you ever go on The Amazing Race? Is it something you would even consider? And also, who do you think would be your ideal Amazing Race partner?
Okay, I would 100% go on The Amazing Race. I think it's super fun.
Awesome.
My ideal Amazing Race partner, I'd say, like, someone from my life.
Yeah, we always say, like, you want to think about someone who obviously you'll race well with, but also can do the tasks that you can never do. Like, if you don't like heights, you need
fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
See, the thing is like all my friends are very similar to me, so it's kind of hard, but I'd probably go with my friend Grace. She's just a little bit more, like, grounded and, like, logical. I think that we balance each other out quite well, but we think the same ways. and she does a good job. Like, I can be very hesitant in doing certain things, like say jumping off of something, like bungee jumping. Like, she'd be able to just like do it. I would stand there.
Okay, great. So we're starting in Seoul at the palace from the last pit stop, and immediately we're going through the teams, just kind of refreshing what happened last episode. And Phil talks about Kelly's hand injury, and they pan over it. It just looks like a couple of her knuckles are bleeding a little bit. And I was like, how is this like an injury? How is this noteworthy? But it does become noteworthy later this episode.
It does indeed.
Kelly and John are the first teams to depart after winning the last leg at 3:46 a.m. And they are instructed to go to the Honggang Park, where locals fly Korean kites. And they have to pull on a string attached to a pedestal to release the clue attached to the kites flying overhead. And as they get going, the language barrier is still very apparent.
Yeah, you said this in the last episode. This is definitely the most it's proved an issue thus far in us watching the show.
Yeah, it's totally a huge issue. And it's like, I don't even know how I would navigate this. Because it's like, how do you communicate with somebody who can't understand anything you're saying?
Yeah, but you know what? That's the spirit of the race.
It's the spirit of the race. Okay, Riken and Chip are departing at 3:55 a.m. And at this time, Kelly and John are going to a hotel to ask for directions and get an English driver. And Riken and Chip's driver claims to know where to go. And Riken and Chip, they're kind of attempting to speak Korean, but I don't think it's working too well for them. And is this where they have some of their comments about the taxi driver?
I think so. I think it was like they were being very like rude about not being able to understand. But it's like, okay, first of all, you're being rude to someone who doesn't understand you. Second of all, where's that getting you at the end of the day? You're just being negative for no reason. Actually kind of mean, honestly.
Yeah. They're a team to me that's just always very tense. Kelly and John, last episode, they said they were trying to be relaxed. Riken and Chip I don't think they've ever been relaxed throughout this race. They always seem very tense. And they're berating their driver. There's kind of like a voiceover thing where we hear them say like, awful, we're not paying you, you don't speak English, which was really not a great thing to say.
Yeah, especially when they were, I mean, maybe the guy claimed to have spoke English, because last episode they were so like, we need to get English drivers, that's what we have to do here on out. So who knows? But yeah,
well, it's also like you're coming into somebody else's country, asking them to drive you around, and then you're saying, okay, but we're not going to pay you because you don't speak our native language.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Okay, Kelly and John, they run into some drunk people outside the hotel. And John and Al depart. Their taxi driver speaks perfect English. So they're actually the first to arrive to this kites task.
Yeah, they have no issue. They pull the string, they get the clue, and we're going down under. We're going to Brisbane, Australia.
Yes, which I was excited about. And they're told to go to a hotel to be escorted to a penthouse. Okay, here come Kelly and John at this kite task.
No, Riken and Chip do the kite task after John and Al, right? They get their...
They do, yeah. They finish it second.
Yeah, no issue, because it's not that complicated.
For some.
For some.
For some.
Here comes John. He's gung-ho to this kite thing, and he decides he's just gonna tear down the entire string of kites.
He doesn't look for another string. He sees a string.
He just goes for it.
That is, mind you, the string that all of the kites are attached to. And he starts pulling on it, not noticing that there are little strings, like single strings, to pull down individual ones.
Yeah.
And he's yanking on it.
Meanwhile, all of the surrounding locals are like, no, stop it. But he tears the whole thing down.
He tears the whole thing
Wild.
down.
And you can just hear in the background everybody around them being like, oh.
Yeah. And then he has a quote. He's like, that sucks. So they do eventually get their clue. And David and Jeff are just departing now. And they go through it no problem. And all teams are now on their way to the airport. And on the way to the airport, I don't know, this is made to be like such a big deal. Kelly and John, they run into some fog and are so incredulous about it. They're like, I've never seen anything like this.
I don't know what it is. It's just fog. Like, yeah, it's always cool when you're driving and it's kind of ominous, but it's not that life-changing.
I thought it was kind of funny how it like foreshadowed a little bit the drama to come.
True.
I thought that was some solid. I wonder if that was a little scripted, but maybe not. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely intentional from the editors to kind of ease the viewer into the fog, kind of setting up what is to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
The airport will see both a little bit of plane drama, but also this fog coming back around in a very, honestly, what I'd say is one of the most high stakes runs in the airport before. We've never we've never seen a team run for a plane like that and have it end that way. But whatever,
We'll get there. Okay. Yeah. So once again, Raikkonen and Chip are buying their tickets, and then the other teams are copying the same thing. And this is where we get some of the comments that are maybe in poor taste, where John pulls up to Raikkonen and Chip, and he makes comments about like pheromones drawing them, and then Raikkonen and Chip are saying that John is jealous of Raikkonen and Chip because they're more masculine than he is, which isn't the insult you think it is. And also this will kind of come back a little bit more, where this kind of dynamic between John and Raikkonen and Chip and masculinity.
I think the thing though is I'm wondering if this was happening more in the race and they just didn't show it till now.
I would assume so. Either maybe.
Yeah, Raikkonen and Chip also didn't disclose their relationship till pretty recently.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking that this was like a theme throughout the season, but it's not.
No, this is the first time it came up.
Maybe 2 episodes, was it 2 or 3 episodes ago? It was the start of the episode. It ended up that it was Raikkonen and Chip's 1-year wedding anniversary. So they like sat with the teams and just disclosed that. And it was a really like emotional moment.
Yeah. It was like a really
that kind of moment. Got overshadowed by the virgins.
Yeah, because then so pretty much Raikkonen and Chip like came out, and then there was another team who got eliminated that like then came out as
dating
virgins.
12 years virgins.
Yeah, which was like much more shocking, like overshadowed everything.
People were they were much more invested in that.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
But I think, Rebecca, this was kind of the moment that John was soured for you.
Yeah,
correct?
See, I kind of liked Kelly and John initially coming into the episode. I was like, all right, like they seem like a solid team. I was like, okay, I saw a little flashback moment to the previous episode of Kelly punching through those boards. I was like, all right, okay, badass, all right.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like this is cool. I'm happy that they're like a strong team. You've got a badass girl, you've got a cool guy going on. And then you've got these comments that are being made all of a sudden. And it was unfortunate because I was like, okay, well, I liked Raikkonen and Chip. So until they made those comments about the taxi driver, and I was like, okay, well, then I'll just like cheer for Kelly and John. And then they were making these comments about Raikkonen and Chip. And I was like, can we get a break? Like, you guys are all like horrible. This is the worst. Like, there's a certain level of like trash talk, I think, that within a race like this is totally acceptable. But I was just a bit flabbergasted. Like, yes, okay, it's like, what, 2002, 2003?
Yeah.
Early 2000s. Yeah, okay, like, it's a different time, but there's no need to be making hateful comments. And, yeah, I was seeing all the teams in a very different lens at this point.
That's fair. And I also think, too, it's like, that's the thing is, Andrew and I kind of have the whole backstory for a lot of these teams, and that you don't. So this is very much the first impression you're getting.
Right?
And it's not a good one.
No.
Not a good one.
For everyone involved.
So we pan to heavy fog, and then you pan to the boards where all of the flights are listed, and it says, delayed, bum, bum, bum. So everyone is on the same flight except for John and Al. Okay, so everyone's flight is delayed because of the fog, except John and Al were told that their flight was not delayed by the ticket agent, but they figure out themselves that their flight is delayed by talking to the pilot of the plane. So they were kind of deceived.
And it is, in fact, delayed 2 hours.
Yeah. So they then try to get on the Singapore flight that everybody else is boarding, and they're panicking, they're praying, and the intense orchestral music begins.
They're running through the airport, they get to the gate with, it looks like maybe a couple minutes to spare, but the agent informs them that they have not gone through, is like the proper security screening procedures, or like she can't, because of security reasons, she can't accept last minute passengers.
Yeah, I think that was it. They were too late, and they wouldn't let them on. So at this point, John and Al, so over.
Yeah, however, I thought they had I for a moment there, I thought they might have a comeback because they do manage to find another plane that's direct that doesn't put them too far behind. So while everyone else is going to Singapore, then to Brisbane, they get a direct one, which for me, I was like, oh, okay,
that could be good.
Yeah, but in between this, it's a big letdown. They're upset. They miss this plane, and what do? They put on the clown noses and they start telling "Why did the chicken cross the road?" jokes.
Oh my God.
They put on the clown noses, and they do this all the time to try and like entertain the locals, but the locals are always so unamused by it. They put on the noses, their balancing thing on their nose. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get on Korean Airlines.
Like, my God, it was just so bad. And then the like water gag too, where he like spits it out. I like, again, going back to the like, who am I supposed to cheer for at this point? Like, nobody's winning in my books. You're not telling funny jokes. And like the run through the airport also, and then pleading with the agent. I'm not gonna lie, I was just a little bit like, okay, it reeks desperation, which is fine because it is a big race. But the pleading, I was just like, guys, come on now. Like, just accept it and maybe find another way forward. But no, I was just, wow, not great. I wrote bad jokes are the best medicine. But even their jokes were not even constituted as bad. Not great medicine. Can't say.
I don't think so. I don't know who their antics appeal to. It's probably like 6 or 7 year olds. They probably like the spit water gag, clown nose. They probably
okay.
Think
Well, you know
fun.
what? Clowning is an art form.
They kind of really reminded me of I don't know if you guys have seen Modern Family, but Cam. And every time he'd bring out the clown
Fizbo.
Yeah, attire, and Mitchell would just be at the end of his rope. I felt like Mitchell in that moment. I was like, guys, I don't even know you, but my God, please stop.
Yeah, it's enough. So
Enough.
Yeah, that's anything else for the airport? I think that's pretty much it.
Not really. Like we said, they get on a direct flight. Everyone's headed for Australia, and immediately David and Jeff decide to go for the fast forward.
I did want to say one thing again about the airport. I'm sorry, I know this is late, but
No, go.
I thought it was funny. The phone, how like the clowns, I don't remember Alan John, is that what it is?
Yeah.
They were like the first ones there, whatever, and you can like see them on the phone. They're like, all right, thank you so much with the travel. Like, you're sure that this is the right flight for us? And they're like, all right, fantastic. They're so confident. And then like the phone being like put right back on the hook. Fantastic foreshadowing, I want to say. The editors are doing a great job this episode with the fog now and also with the phone. I was just, this is drama. So
You're all
They
about
know how to build a
foreshadowing.
story.
Yeah, and the way he put the phone on there was like so dramatic too. It was like slow-mo. It was like
yes,
done. Yeah, and also when they realize they can't get on the plane, it's also so dramatic as always. They say they have a quote, they're like, we took a deep breath and realized we're done. And then it's like that's the end of their life. And then we come back from the commercial break. They cut to commercial, come back to commercial, and then it's like, oh, they just found another flight, no biggie, which is par for the course.
And he's wearing a clown nose.
He's wearing a clown nose. Okay,
and he's balancing glasses on his nose. So okay.
Yeah. Brisbane. David and Jeff are the first to arrive, and they say, okay, this is the last fast forward, so we have to go for it because they're in the lead at this time.
And honestly, based on their vibe, the like surfer dude, bro, California beach, it seems made for them.
It seems made for them. Yeah, so I think the only people who have the fast forward are David and Jeff and Kelly and John, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kelly and John, they didn't even attempt for the fast forward, which I guess was probably a good decision because they did say it was like an hour away from the city. It would have been interesting to see them take a stab at it and kind of had that David and Jeff, John and Kelly showdown for the fast forward, especially given what the task was.
I don't think Kelly and John would have done well in this. But yeah, so basically what the task is they have to complete like an Australian lifeguarding test, basically, or an exam. So they're on a beach and there's a quote unquote drowning person in the water, which is just a person who's swimming fine. But the task is they have to swim out to her with their boards, load her onto one of the boards and bring her safely back to shore, which for two guys, one of whom he says, he's in the water a couple times a week surfing, sounds pretty easy.
Right up his alley, or so you would think.
So you would think.
This is kind of like, they kind of like cut from them doing this task to the other teams, like back and forth throughout the whole episode. Do we want to just talk about the fast forward in its entirety now and then just like be done with it?
Because also I think the cutting back and forth to it from other things makes it seem so long, but also it's just so silly because multiple times they cut back to it and there's just this like SpongeBob-esque music playing, you know, a Bikini Bottom type beachy Margaritaville music.
Yeah, which just makes them seem like such like a couple of doinks or something. They're doing it. They're saying we got this, but immediately the waves are kind of like taking them out, and they're on their surfboards. They're swimming to this woman, and they're really struggling. Not to mention when they get to the woman, that's when the real issues start to arise.
Yeah, they make a point of saying like it's not that she's like that heavy to get onto the board.
Crazy.
Or, like,
Oh my God.
they're like, it's just like when someone is completely limp and you're trying to lift them onto a board with nothing to kind of hoist yourself up in the first place, it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, they were floundering. They're trying to like flip her on the board. She's like falling off. The whole board flips.
Poor woman.
Yeah. Rebecca, comments?
Comments I have. So, yeah, I wrote down the quote. It was, she wasn't fat, but she was solid. What does that even mean? What does that even
I don't know.
mean? And then I wrote my own little opinion. I said, I thought you were a lifeguard. That's pretty disappointing. Yeah, if you're coming into a challenge and you're saying, oh yeah, well, I spend time, oh, maybe he wasn't a lifeguard. I might have just made that up in my head.
Yeah.
But if you're taking all this, like, you're having all this confidence about, oh, I'm in the water, like, this many times a week, and, like, oh, he's a surfer, this and that. Like, you know, maybe don't comment on the lady that you're trying to save. Maybe don't comment on her body. Maybe just keep that to yourself, you know? You have an inner voice for a reason.
But he did say she wasn't fat.
Oh, yeah, right. Totally. Yeah, no,
good.
totally. Points for that.
And the fact that this task was like literally tailored toward them. Their intro shot in the opening credits is them running on a beach with surfboards, which they literally do in this task. So yeah, it was, I don't know how anybody else would do this task because it seemed like the hardest fast forward ever.
I will say though, I appreciated that it wasn't an easy one, like a straightforward one, because that has been, I'd say, an issue maybe about half the time, 3/4 of the time this season is the fast forward is very much just if you get there first, you can do it. Like, I mean, the feeding the orangutans one. Or
yeah, they just had to like
monkeys.
Interact with the monkey and then they got it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess they do eventually get it. Shall we cut back to the main race?
Indeed.
Okay. So John and Kelly, were at the airport and they decide they're going to take a train because they were told by a local that it's faster so they don't get stuck in traffic. And yeah, they've decided not to go the fast forward, so they're on their way to the penthouse. Riken and Chip make it to the penthouse first, which is where we get to the detour.
Which I loved. As a person who usually hates heights, I thought this looked really fun.
Really?
Yes, Andrew.
Face first on like a skyscraper?
I don't know why, but I
the
was just
ground?
like, I was like, I could do that. No issue. Like, I almost wanted to do it.
I was feeling
you
that too, honestly. And I've heard that you are afraid of heights, and I was wondering what you were going to think about this, Jill. But it did seem like a doable task.
I don't know what it is about it. I think maybe it's the control that you have as an individual to propel yourself down rather than just kind of like giving all your mercy to gravity and jumping off. But I looked at this and I thought, this is very doable, but we should explain. So the detour is face first or foot first. Spoiler alert, everyone does face first, which is you have to do I think they call it like an Australian rappel down the side of this building, which is a face first. You're basically walking like Spider-Man down the building towards the ground. Like I said, everyone does that. But the other option was foot first, which is you have to spot a flag, the Amazing Race flag, on another building in the city. You have to walk to that building, walk up the building.
30 flights of stairs, yeah.
30 flights of stairs. It's tiring, it's long, it's exhausting, but you're not rappelling down a building. Naturally, nobody chooses that.
Yeah, and also because the rappel task was literally right there already. Because they're already at the top of the building. It's like, oh, are you going to go down the building, go to this whole other building, climb up 30 stairs, or are you just going to go down and do the task that's directly in front of you?
So everyone goes down, and it's kind of a neck-and-neck race, honestly, between, who does it? Is it Chip and or no, that's the thing is, so it's a detour, sorry, both team members have to complete it, but they start people at the same time.
Yeah.
So Riken and John go first, but they're like, they make them start at the same time, and then Chip and Kelly go first, and they both start at the same time, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, because Riken and Chip arrived there first, but they had them both teams go at the same time. I guess because it's like better for TV, I suppose. But yeah, so they're going down at the same time, and we have some more comments.
And can I comment on the comments, please?
Yes.
Because oh my God. So I don't know who said this. Someone said, and it was one of Riken and Chip. They were like, oh, well, they're just buzzed John that a gay man rappelled down a building quicker than he did. And I'm not sure how it was actually said in the episode. But yeah, whichever one was first, Riken or Chip, beat John down the building. And you can tell that John's like a little bit peeved. But it's like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. And you see Kelly coming down after. I don't know if we're jumping ahead to that, but the comments that John was making to Kelly with the other team right there, and you're just like, oh my God, why are you being so homophobic? It just kind of shows that you're not intelligent enough to create other insults that are not based in hate. I was like, oh my God.
Riken goes first and John go first. That as a race, I'd say, is decently anticlimactic. Yeah. They both don't really struggle with it. But here comes Kelly, the quote-unquote supposed badass. Now, I believe John has a quote here where he goes, I could actually see a little bit of fear on her face. Cut to Kelly frozen in the air, like quite literally hyperventilating, not moving. And I'm like, there's a little bit more than a little fear there. Yeah. But I thought this was giving Andrew, what was the one last season where they had to rappel down who was freaked out when it was like rappelling down the side of the cliff in Portugal?
Flo.
Yeah, it was giving Flo.
It very much was. And this is the first time we've seen somebody be like so terrified by a heights task
hysterical.
This season. Yeah. So Kelly and Riken are going the same time. And Kelly, she's concerned about her hand, about her fist. She's not able to make a fist, so she can't grip the rope correctly. And this kind of gets to her head, and she has a panic attack midway through. And it's just like dangling like a little spider on a string is what it looks like.
To be fair, she's very close to the bottom. Like, she's very, very, like, it's not like that she's just started the task. She's almost at the end of this rappel.
Yeah, she's like hyperventilating. She's screaming. It very much sounded like in the first Hunger Games movie when Prim was waking up from a dream at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh my God, Andrew.
I don't know if that's insensitive to say, but that's what it reminded me of.
No, I totally agree with you. I wrote down, I said, I don't care about Kelly's hand, and I think she's embarrassing herself. Please chill out.
She was dangling. She was screaming. It sounded quite horrific, actually.
It was great TV.
It was.
It was. Yeah, and the whole Riken and Chip John dynamic is just so strange. It's so uncomfortable and awkward. And it's something that's really of its time. Like, you would never see this dynamic play out on TV in the year 2025.
No, you wouldn't.
Okay, so at this time, we see John and Al arriving in Brisbane. They're on their way to the penthouse. And Riken and Chip complete the detour first. And they're told they have to self-drive to how do you say this town?
Mooloolaba?
I didn't write it down.
Mooloolaba.
Yeah.
To go to the underwater world.
Now, why do we have so many fish this season? I am not a fan.
Yeah, it seems like every single episode there is a fish task. Handle fish, transport fish, swim with fish.
This is my nightmare.
You would hate this being on the season.
I don't think I could cope.
I don't think you could do this season. Yeah, so there's a little bit of drama. Riken and Chip, they don't have a map, so they're kind of hooped, but they get there eventually, whatever. The roadblock is...
They get there at the same time, though, as Kelly and John. They're both running through this aquarium at the same time.
They are, yeah.
Okay, so they get to the aquatic world, and the roadblock prompt is... What was the prompt? No, I have it written down, but I don't know if this is just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Was that it?
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Okay, so the thing with the roadblock is you don't know what the task is, but you can obviously infer based on your surroundings. You know what the roadblock, you don't know what it is, you only get the prompt. So, Rebecca, my question is to you.
But wait, so you have to decide who's doing it only based on that prompt, and once you open the clue and get further details, you can't switch. Like, you can't be like, oh, I don't want to do this, you do it.
Yeah. So you have to decide right then and there. Of you or Grace, who's doing this roadblock?
Honestly, either of us. I think that this is not... I think that they, like, kind of made this a whole thing for no reason. Like, I would do it, you know? Sorry, what was the prompt again? I completely forgot.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Probably Grace. She's a little bit more aquatically inclined than I am, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, Andrew, you and I, this isn't a question.
Yeah, because Jill is horrified of fish, so I would do it for sure.
I would actually shut down.
Could you even be in the aquarium?
I wouldn't even be able to watch you do the task. Listen, while the one person's doing the task, the other team member is in, you know, some aquariums have, for the listeners, this is for you guys, you know, some aquariums have the like tunnels where you're under the water but looking in. They're in there watching. I couldn't even be in there. I can't deal. So Andrew, this is you.
Yeah. Okay, so what the actual task is that whoever's doing the roadblock has to put on scuba gear and go into the tank and grab a clue from a treasure chest. But this tank is home to a diverse array of sea creatures, including 100 sharks.
Big sharks.
Large sharks.
They really use and abuse the Jaws music here,
Yes!
which sets the tone.
It's like a knockoff version of the Jaws music.
I hated this task. I hated watching it. John goes first, and the instructor there tells him you have to keep it's kind of a weird position. Like, you have to have your arms together and like clenched in front of you, because if your arm is sticking out, a shark could bite it, but also I forget why, like the other reason, but so you have to maintain this very weird position, walk through the tank, try not to step on any sharks or fish to this treasure chest. I hated it.
Yeah. While this is happening, Kelly is like doing cartwheels, all these theatrics, trying to get John's attention. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like as if John of A could hear you, see you, and you're not helping. Who cares?
Yeah. And she's like, there's like manta rays and stuff or stingrays swimming over John's head, and she's like waving him down, like, look, John, look. And she's like, I was trying to like tell him to look, but he's not looking. And I'm like, I wouldn't be looking either.
It's also like, he is there. He's right there. You would think like, yeah, he can see the stingray right above him. Like, oh,
I think it's like, I think he knows. I think he's not looking intentionally.
No, exactly. He's, I appreciate that she was like trying to be involved and experience the challenge. But at the end of the day, I think you have to just appreciate the fact that he is in the challenge and he's trying to complete the challenge so that you win this big race. Maybe just like appreciate it for yourself and don't distract your partner who's trying to complete it as quickly as he can, with sharks all around him.
Yes. So John has much less of an issue than Riken does. So they're kind of doing this at the same time. And John has a quote in the confessional saying that he, quote, walked by Riken and he looked like a cat stuck to the ceiling with its claws out. What does this mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I love that.
I guess I can imagine that. Just like a cat like, all tense, stuck to the ceiling. Yeah, but is this a common saying?
No.
Let me look it up. I'm not getting anything.
This is John original. He pulled that straight out of his brain.
And I think that John is really just one without a filter. I don't think that he really thinks before he speaks. I think Kelly's similar. Maybe this is why they work so well together.
I got an article and it's titled, "My cat got lost in the ceiling. I hit the roof."
That's funny.
Great.
Anyway.
So yeah, we go to Riken now. We're focused on Riken. He's very nervous, and you see him like kind of put his hand out, and then we see his Chip go, Riken, put your hand back in, and like they make it seem as if the shark is about to eat his hand.
Oh yeah, because right before they cut to it's like Riken, cut to commercial.
Yeah, as if he's gonna like lose his hand in this moment. It's like, really, this whole roadblock to me was really dragging on. Like I think we could have cut this directly in half, discarded the rest. I would be happy. They were really making a whole meal out of this Thanksgiving dinner.
They tried.
And it wasn't that interesting.
No.
It wasn't that interesting.
No. And John said he was like, oh, Riken was definitely a lot more nervous than I was. Or someone had said something like that. And it's like, okay, so we're playing into this stupid dynamic again. Okay, sure.
Yes. But John does complete the roadblock first. And after this, they're instructed to go to the pit stop at the yacht club, which David and Jeff who have completed the roadblock or the fast forward are already on their way too.
And it seems like Javid and Jeff were quite close to the pit stop with where they were doing the fast forward. So they've checked in there first. They will be in the finale.
Confirmed
all that jazz.
Spot in the final 3 teams, winning a vacation to exotic Mexico. Compliments of the American Airlines website. So back to John and Al. John and Al, they're doing the rappelling task. They do it no problem. They just kind of like, Al particularly, he just kind of looks like a rag doll, the way he's like limp, just like going down. Riken and Chip leave the roadblock and...
But this, okay, here, so Kelly and John finish the roadblock first.
Yeah.
They read the clue. And
yes.
There's a very specific point here, which is that they must travel on foot to the Malulaba Yacht Club. Malulaba?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Malulaba Yacht Club, which is, it appears just kind of around the corner. It's quite close. Riken and Chip miss this detail. And they go, are we going to run or are we going to drive? Are we going to run or are we going to drive? And they decide, let's drive.
Yep, so they hop in their car and they drive on over to the pit stop. And they arrive in second place. Hooray!
Nope.
Not hooray.
Not so much.
So Phil tells them, you arrived in second, however, you receive a 5-minute penalty for the time you gained by taking a car, as well as a 30-minute penalty for not following the instructions. Which is such a small penalty. But it is like pretty inconsequential, actually.
But it's because they always do the whatever time they gained on the other team plus the 30 minutes.
Right. Because this was the same, because this had happened the prior season and a team got eliminated because of this. But theirs was only 30 minutes as well, wasn't it, Heather and Eve? Because I don't remember. I think all the teams were so close together that leg.
They were so close together,
that it did make a difference.
And correct me if I'm wrong, in season 1, wasn't it like a 12-hour penalty or something? Wasn't it something crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was because somebody like took a bus instead of a car. They received a 12-hour penalty and got eliminated.
They were working out the kinks in the penalty system.
Apparently.
So, Riken and Chip, they arrive in second, but they have a 35-minute penalty. Kelly and John arrive. They're in second for real. And they're making it seem as though John and Al have a chance. But
they don't.
I think, because they never told us how far behind they were from the flight.
True.
Like, when their flight arrived. Like, their flight could have arrived 3 hours after everybody else. But the editing, the magic of editing makes it seem as though John and Al are going to survive here.
Yes, and John and Al, when they get there, Phil makes a whole statement to them about another team did receive a penalty, and they have a moment of
hope.
Maybe they're like, "Oh, is it gonna work?" But alas, Phil then states, however, it was not enough to put them behind, and unfortunately, this will be the last of John and Al in the race.
They're eliminated.
So our confirmed final 3, which I don't think, if you had asked me at the start of the season to make up this final 3, I would not have said David and Jeff, Kelly and John, Riken and Chip. It's a very oddball group.
No, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Me neither.
Rebecca, John and Al were the only team that you kind of tolerated. So what was your reaction to finding out that they're eliminated and has lost their chance at $1 million?
See, I didn't actually even realize that the prize was $1 million. I'm not going to lie, so that kind of salt in the wound right now. Yeah, I was pretty sad. I mean, not as sad as maybe I would have been for another better team, but I was like, okay. I thought, again, maybe they had a chance. Editing, that kind of thing. I was like, maybe that 35-minute penalty will push them ahead a little bit. But then at the same time, like, if I had to choose out of the final 3, one that I liked the most, well, it'd be the team that came in first. But they're super boring. And so I was like kind of hoping that Riken and Chip went through. So I was, mixed emotions. But overall, pretty sad that they got eliminated. The clowns, they kind of remind me of like their dad vibes, and they were mentioning in their little like post race interview where they just got eliminated, they were like, I hope I can show my kids that you can do anything. It was very inspirational, and it kind of hit the emotions a little bit. I was like, okay, it's sad that you guys got eliminated, even though I was making fun of your clown antics earlier, but that's okay.
they got quite the send-off here. Like, they have like a long time to talk about how they had a positive attitude, how great that was, how they're proud of each other, etc., etc. And you know what? I don't care. I really didn't care to hear this. And they do receive applause by standing ovation from all the other teams upon their elimination, a la Dave and Margareta from season 1.
Of course. It all comes back to Dave and Margareta.
Yeah, my favorite team of all time. They were so cute. They were this little old couple. They didn't make it very far, but they were the best ever. But
well, I'll be dipped.
That is the episode. Rebecca, in comparison to the Amazing Race that you're familiar with, maybe the more modern aspects of it, how did you enjoy this in comparison to what you're familiar with?
It was enjoyable. That they did a good job with the drama. I think that it was something that I could appreciate from a perspective of it's 2003. So I appreciated kind of like the retro vibe of everything is over dramatic, everything is crazy. Plus, some drama that you typically wouldn't get in today's Amazing Race in terms of some homophobic comments and dynamics in that aspect. But it was definitely it was intriguing. I am possibly interested in continuing to watch from this time period, just because it's like, yeah, those dynamics are definitely not something you get much of today. So definitely has opened my eyes to future possibilities in terms of The Amazing Race, watching past seasons. But I do appreciate the tolerant attitudes of today a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, good. Glad you enjoyed the episode. Jill, any overall thoughts on our final 3 on the episode?
Not really. Just like I said, I think if you had asked me at the start of the season, I mean, we didn't even pick winners, and I wouldn't have said either of these 3, and I wouldn't have picked this as a final 3. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Rebecca, who do you think's gonna win?
Anybody but Kelly and John.
I love that answer.
Anybody but Kelly and John. Yeah. And you know what? I don't care who wins at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. We don't care. I'm just kind of ready to get the season over with, because we have heard great things about season 5.
Whoop whoop, which will be coming in September.
It'll be a break over the summer, unfortunately. But
as per usual, we're moving around. We've got stuff on the go.
Yeah, but as we know, distance makes the heart grow fonder, so we'll come back to this podcast with a fondness for season 5, ready to go. Anything else anybody has to add?
No, you know the drill. Email us, amazingracerewind@gmail.com, Instagram, Amazing Race Rewind, buy us a coffee, AR Rewind, follow us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything, wherever. Leave us a comment on YouTube on the Buy Us a Coffee page. Wherever. We love your insights.
Interact with us. We love it. Okay, and special thanks again to Rebecca for her insight and for her appearance.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Maybe we'll have you back again.
I would love to be back. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
All right. Well, with that, we'll see you guys next week where we're down to the final 3. Well, there's some horseback riding. Somebody flips a vehicle.
Oh.
It's promising.
It's promising. Okay, but until then, bye.
Bye.